Hello, beautiful people. My name is Kristen. Thank you for coming by my channel, checking out Book of the Month. And it's kind of a haul because thanks to you lovely people using my link, which gets you the first book for $5 and gets me a book credit, which basically lets me put an extra book in my box up to 2 books a month. So there were a couple books that I had on my wish list that I wanted to get eventually that were available on Book of the Month. So I put them in the box with this one, and I will share them all so you will know they are coming up in, the next month or two's book reviews. So the one that I picked for this month's Book of the Month was The Romance Offer by Emily Henry, People We Meet on Vacation. And so I think the synopsis is pretty short. It says, Poppy and Alex have nothing in common. She's a wild child and wears khakis and has insatiable wanderlust. He prefers to stay home with a book. And somehow, ever since a fateful car share home from college many years ago, they're best friends. For most of the year, they live apart in New York City, and he's in a small town. But every summer for a decade, they take one glorious week of vacation together until 2 years ago when everything is ruined and they haven't spoken since. Poppy has everything she should want, but she's stuck in a rut, and someone asks when she was last truly happy, and she knows without a doubt it was on the ill-fated final trip with Alex. So she convinces her best friend to take one more vacation together and lay everything on the table to make it right. And miraculously, he agrees. She has a week to fix it all. If only she can get around the one big truth that has always stood quietly in the middle of their seemingly perfect relationship. What could possibly go wrong? So, friends to lovers, trope, vacation, travel, which we can't do a lot of right now. I figure, sounds good. And honestly, none of the other books really struck me as something that I was interested in reading. And I just did that long Nora Roberts kind of marathon trilogy, and so I was kind of in the mood to discover a new author. So I know Emily Henry has written several books. This is a repeat author, so if you've read any of her other books, particularly if you were fond of any of her other books, I would love and appreciate a comment down below letting me know what the name of that was and if you liked it. And if I like this one at all, I'm going to check out some more, because I could use another romance author that's kind of funsy without being over the top. Then I got Fredrik Backman's Anxious People, and I adore Fredrik Backman. This is the same author who wrote Beartown, which made my top 10 list of the year 2 years ago, and I love his writing style. I don't know a lot about this book. I can read the synopsis for us so we can get an idea. But he's the kind of author that you'll be reading along, and then he'll say, that was the last time I ever thought nothing would happen in March. Or, like there'll be this dialogue with the characters, or there'll be like and then there's this kind of little aside, like, nothing's going to ever be the same, or, it always rains on Tuesdays, or, something random, and you don't totally even know what it means. But I just love that. It's just so interesting, the way he'll do that within his writing. Let's see. Looking at real estate isn't usually a life or death situation, but an apartment open house becomes just that when a failed bank robber bursts in and takes a group of strangers hostage. The captives, including a recently retired couple who relentlessly hunt down fixer-uppers to avoid the painful truth that they can't fix their own marriage. There's a wealthy banker who has been too busy making money to care about anyone else, and a young couple who are about to have their first child but can't seem to agree on anything, from where they want to live to how they met in the first place. Add to this mix an 87-year-old woman who has lived long enough not to be afraid of someone waving a gun in her face, and flustered but still ready to make a deal real estate agent, a mystery man who's locked himself in the apartment's only bathroom, and you've got the worst group of hostages in the world. That sounds so great. So they're anxious because they're being held hostage. I didn't even have a clue what the book was about till just now. That sounds fantastic. I didn't care. If it's Fredrik Backman, I'm going to read it now. That's just how I roll with him. So, yes. And the last book that I got is a beautiful book. Can you see the foiling on it? The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue. It's V.E. Schwabb. And I can't remember now if if it's a male or a female author. I'll put it down here. Anyway, I read their book, the first one in a trilogy, but it was kind of enough for me. It was, I'll put the name of that too. I can't even remember. It was like Vindictive or one of those kind of things. And it was good. It was really good. But I decided I just wasn't that interested in carrying on with that particular storyline. But this one got a lot of great reads and a lot of good reviews on Goodreads. So I wanted to, I don't just stop with one book with an author. I give them another chance. and the first one was good. I think it was Vicious. Okay. Never Pray to the Gods at Answer After Dark, France, 1714. In a moment of desperation, a young woman named Adeline meets a dangerous stranger and makes a terrible mistake. As she realizes the limitations of her Faustian bargain, being able to live forever without being able to be remembered by anyone she sees, Addie chooses to flee a small village as everything she once held dear is torn away. But there are still dreams to be had and a life to live, and she's determined to find excitement and satisfaction in a wide beckoning world, even if she'll be doomed to be alone forever. Or not quite alone, as every year on the birthday, the alluring Lou comes to visit, checking to see if she's ready to give up her soul. The darkening, thrilling game stretches through the ages, seeing Addie witness history and fight to regain herself as she crosses oceans and tries on different lives. It will be 300 years before she stumbles into a hidden bookstore and discovers someone who actually remembers her name, and suddenly everything changes. So that just sounded real. I mean, I love time travel, and it said bookstore. I mean, you had me at bookstore, right? So, and this is a beautiful book. This is just, I hope this is somewhat decent, because I would like this to live on my library shelf, because it's just a pretty book. I really, really like that. So those are my 3. If you've read any of these, no spoilers, but let me know what you think. And if you got a different book of the month or reading a particularly awesome, juicy novel, please list that in the comments below. I really appreciate you taking some time out of your day, seeing what I got. If you're not subscribed to Book of the Month, it's a new release book, hard copy. They're normally $14.99. If you get an annual subscription, they work out to $12.50 a month. That's free shipping. And, the first book you get is only $5. So it is a really good deal if you've ever been to the bookstore lately and tried to buy a new release book. So if you're a reader, check it out. I'll leave the link below. Y'all have a super fantastic day. Have a great one. Take care. Talk to you later.